Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're going to be talking about MarJon Beauchamp. And you guys want to hear a little funny tidbit about this, or I guess a little personal anecdote. So I used to work as a broadcast news local journalist. Now I'm in online print, but in multimedia. However, I interviewed MarJon Beauchamp's aunt/adopted mother, because she was the vice principal of a middle school that I was covering for an event, and she had a MarJon Beauchamp shrine, and I obviously I had to ask, and that's it. Either way, hit that like and subscribe button. MarJon Beauchamp allegedly going to probably be traded. So Marc Stein of the Stein line says the Bucks are, obviously have very limited trade maneuverability given where they are with the payroll, but league sources say Milwaukee and Klutch Sports representatives for MarJon Beauchamp are working out a trade for MarJon to go to a new place. So I feel like he's just going to end up in Brooklyn. Is that me just being too on the nose, or just thinking that because this is going to be a guy who's available for trade automatically, he's just going to end up in Brooklyn? First off, Brooklyn seemingly would be the best place for him. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts. What do you think they're going to do? Are they going to actually trade for somebody, or do you think they're just going to salary dump him and then sign a free agent, as he's only making $2.7 million. So if it was just a trade, I would say it's going to be a bit hard for them to find a player for them to go ahead and get decent compensation. Now, if we look at the current situation that they're in, I think it's an interesting one. As we said, that this is a team that is pushing for championship contention. And by exploring the trade for MarJon Beauchamp, I think this comes as Milwaukee navigates the rough start that they're having. They have a lack of wing functionality, I would best say, and they need a better roster building. So MarJon Beauchamp was the 24th pick in the 2022 draft, and he came out of the GLeague Ignite. And so far, he's failed to secure through 3 NBA seasons a legit role with the Bucks. They were hoping he was a guy who went through JUCO and then chose the G League, kind of carved out his own path. People really just thought he was going to be he had kind of a high floor, being kind of a scrappy guy that was maybe going to be kind of like a Torrey Craig. And so far in 105 games, he's averaged 4.6 points, 2 rebounds, 13 points a night. In 13 minutes a night, my apology. So with that being said, like I said, 4 points, 2 rebounds, and 13 minutes a night in 105 games. And in this season, he's barely playing. He's not even in the rotation. It's not a good sign for Beauchamp. So if you look even at his G League numbers, they weren't good. Okay. This guy wasn't dominating the G as you'd hope for a first round pick. He never really solidified himself as one would hope. As I said, yes, last year he had 25 points a game, but he only did that in 3 games. And then before that, he had 5 games in the G. So I think, and in those 5 games, he averaged 18. So it wasn't ever he was getting runs too. So it felt like he was kind of always rusty. And I think that was a big thing for them, that he never developed like they thought he would. So despite his limited role, I think Beauchamp's physical attributes and skill set still remains intriguing. At 6'7", with a 7-foot+ wingspan, he has almost basically elite athleticism. He's shown flashes of being a wing capable of playing both ends. He's got a quick first step, has the ability to navigate. He picks around, the top of the key and drive effectively and finish at the rim. And his defensive capabilities, due to his lateral quickness and agility and the length, makes him actually a guy who could be a plus defender. However, obviously the biggest thing is he's not really a shot creator, and his inconsistent from shooting. He really it just hasn't been there, the shot. And they already declined his 4th-year option, which means he's going to be an unrestricted free agent this upcoming season. And they had to do that because he just wasn't the guy that they had hoped. So the Bucks have already opened the door to make him a trade possibility, and they could either look to bring in a short-term financial relief to go get a free agent, or they could trade for somebody who's making less than 2 point, because they're a second apron team, which means they have to trade for someone making less than $2.7 million. Are there players out there? Yes, but it's a very limited scope. Again, given the projected salary of $2.7 million, the Bucks have a range of potential trade targets who fall within this financial bracket. And here are those guys. Look, it's not pretty because the best player available is probably not even available. I think would be a guy like Nikola Jovic, but like Miami loves him and you don't have what it takes. So let's be honest, Cam Reddish or Jackson Hayes, two guys from the Lakers who maybe the Lakers would be interested because they need some wing help. So call up the Lakers. You could be like, hey, would you want to swap MarJon Beauchamp for Cam Reddish, who's an athletic wing who might still have some untapped potential. He's shown some defensive ability and can be a sporadic offensive plug. Then Jackson Hayes is being investigated again by the NBA, so that might be a little bit worrisome. But another swap guy who was a lottery pick, give you some rim protection and rebounding. Other options would be Patrick Baldwin, Bol, Bruno Fernando, old guys who could come. I think the most obvious and most likely thing to happen is for them to go out and get cap flexibility and to go get somebody through free agency. So if the Bucks do aim to offload Beauchamp's contract to purely create cap space, they could create a roster spot that allows them to sign a free agent. This approach then allows them a pathway to acquire an experienced, cost-effective player who's going to be able to contribute immediately. The potential guys that you could think of is Markelle Fultz, who might give them that defensive guy that they've been needing since Drew Holiday left, who's an athletic defensive first, pass first point guard who's really good at getting to the rim efficiently and driving through the lane. Not as athletic as he once was, and he's an inconsistent non-three-point shooter. Then Dennis Smith Jr. is probably the best defensive guy who's a high-energy guard known for his defensive tenacity and his ability to make both plays on both ends of the court. Of course, there's Jay Crowder, who's a familiar face for Milwaukee. They could bring the veteran back, leadership, toughness. He's just like, I don't think he fits. So basically, them trading MarJon Beauchamp is basically them saying, hey, we're trying to keep the championship aspirations alive and keep Giannis happy as they're managing the salary cap challenges that the aprons have put on them. And whether the team opts for a player-for-player trade or just a salary dumping to make space for a strategic free agent signing, this is going to obviously reflect Milwaukee's trying to optimize their roster in the short term and the long term, as the Bucks are going to have to do something to make this work, as it looks like they're just pissing off Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I really don't know, guys. It's not pretty, to say the least. It's not an ideal situation. So hit that like and subscribe button. I didn't make this to make this an 8-minute video, but it became an 8-minute video. So there you guys go. You got an 8-minute video of me talking about MarJon Beauchamp being traded by the Milwaukee Bucks. So peace on that one.